For me, that first step was an investment in a revolutionary idea, Bitcoin. Hi, I'm Bravio, and welcome to Bitcoin on Tour. Today, we're embarking on a ride through the highs, the lows, and the unexpected turns of the Bitcoin journey. Buckle up, because this adventure is as unpredictable as the cryptocurrency market itself. Our first stop is Tokyo, Japan, the birthplace of Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, where the concept of a decentralized currency was born. Tokyo is a city that embodies innovation and tradition, much like Bitcoin itself. I remember my first steps into this world, back when Bitcoin was just a whisper among tech enthusiasts. It felt like a gamble, like jumping off a cliff and hoping to land on a golden beach. And oh, the adrenaline. Tokyo's juxtaposition of the old and new is a perfect metaphor for Bitcoin. On one hand, you have centuries-old temples and traditions. On the other, cutting-edge technology districts like Akihabara. As I wandered through the bustling streets, I couldn't help but draw parallels between the city's seamless blend of past and future and Bitcoin's potential to revolutionize our financial systems while respecting fundamental economic principles. Next, we fly to Reykjavik, Iceland. Why Iceland, you ask? It's the land of geothermal energy and Bitcoin mining farms. In the icy landscapes, massive data centers hum with activity, mining Bitcoin day and night. It's a testament to how far we've come, from digital dreams to physical realities. Seeing those farms for the first time was surreal. It made me realize that Bitcoin isn't just a digital asset. It's a global phenomenon, intertwining with our world's resources and economies. I met Olaf, a dedicated miner who has been in the game since the early days. He shared stories of sleepless nights, troubleshooting hardware issues, and the sheer determination to keep going despite market crashes. Olaf's story reminded me that Bitcoin is built on the backs of countless individuals who believe in its potential. The sheer scale of the mining operations was awe-inspiring, and it became clear that this was no longer a niche hobby, but a full-fledged industry. But it's not all about the technology and numbers. On our next stop in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I discovered the human side of Bitcoin. In a country where inflation eats away at savings, Bitcoin provides a lifeline, a way to preserve value and hope for a better future. I met Maria, a single mother who turned to Bitcoin to safeguard her family's savings. Maria's story was heart-wrenching yet inspiring. She had witnessed her savings devalue overnight due to hyperinflation. Bitcoin offered her a chance to protect her money, to ensure her children's future. Meeting Maria was a turning point in my journey. It brought a profound sense of purpose and responsibility to my involvement in the crypto world. The passion and hope in the eyes of these people were contagious. It wasn't just about the investment anymore. It was about being part of a movement that could change lives. I felt a renewed sense of commitment to understanding and contributing to this space. Walking through the vibrant markets of Buenos Aires, I spoke with vendors and local shop owners who were beginning to accept Bitcoin. Their resilience and adaptability were truly inspiring, and it highlighted how Bitcoin could empower individuals and communities in ways traditional financial systems couldn't. Our next destination is Zug, Switzerland, also known as Crypto Valley. Zug is a small town with a big vision. It has become a hub for blockchain technology and innovation. Walking through its quaint streets, you wouldn't guess it's a powerhouse of digital transformation. In Zug, I met with some of the leading minds in the industry. We discussed the future of blockchain, the potential for decentralized finance, and the ethical implications of these technologies. It was invigorating to be surrounded by people who are not just talking about the future, but actively building it. I spoke with Anna, a blockchain developer who is working on creating more secure and transparent voting systems. She explained how blockchain could revolutionize the way we conduct elections, making them more accessible and tamper-proof. Her passion and dedication were inspiring, and it made me realize the broader impact of this technology. The discussions in Zug were intellectually stimulating and gave me a deeper appreciation for the complexity and potential of blockchain beyond just cryptocurrencies. The bustling metropolis of New York City, I reflect on my own journey. The skyscrapers, the lights, the relentless pace of life here mirror Bitcoin's own volatile yet exhilarating path. In New York, I attended one of the largest cryptocurrency conferences in the world. The energy was palpable. Thousands of people from different walks of life came together, united by a shared belief in the potential of digital currencies. It was here that I met with some of the brightest minds in the cryptocurrency space. We debated, we argued, we dreamed together. It was here I realized that Bitcoin's true value isn't just in its price, but in its power to bring people together, to inspire innovation and change. Addressing the crowd, I shared my experiences from this tour. I spoke about the people I met, the lessons I learned, and the challenges we face. The response was overwhelming. It was clear that this community is not just about financial gain, it's about building a better, more inclusive future. The diversity of ideas and perspectives at the conference was a testament to Bitcoin's global reach and its potential to drive positive change. So, what have I learned on this tour? Bitcoin is more than an investment. It's a journey of discovery. It's about understanding the world, connecting with people, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's about taking risks, making mistakes, and growing stronger. Each step of this journey has taught me something new, and each person I've met has reinforced the idea that Bitcoin is more than just a financial tool. It's a catalyst for change. As we end this tour, I invite you to start your own journey, to explore, to learn, and to be part of this revolution. Remember, every step you take brings you closer to understanding, closer to change. This is Bitcoin on Tour, and the adventure is just beginning. The world of Bitcoin is vast and ever evolving, and there's so much more to discover. I encourage you to dive in, ask questions, and engage with this dynamic community. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep dreaming. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. Your curiosity and passion are what drive this revolution forward. And don't forget, in this world of digital currency, the most valuable investment is always knowledge. Stay informed, stay curious, and stay engaged. The future is bright, and it's ours to shape.